Hi, I'm Aaron Tux Shanahan. This is Tux Talks, and today I'm talking to Cade Bengert. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
So, it's the final day of the Calgary Expo. Have you been here all 4 days?
I wasn't here Thursday. I came down Thursday night after some stuff I had going on. But I've been here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, yeah, pretty much from open to close. So.
How are your feet?
They are sore. I did not bring the proper shoes that I should have. You'd think I'd know better after a couple of years, but yeah.
No one ever learns that lesson.
No one ever learns that. Says the guy who wore a tux to con.
Hey, I have to look good. Have you seen me in normal clothes?
I have.
I look awful. This at least brings me to a 4, maybe a 5. Oh. So, how has the con been treating you?
It's been pretty good. This year, there's a lot of people. It seems like, I don't know if it's true, but it seems like there's more people here than there was last year, which is nice. And me and our lovely cameraman were talking about how there's a lot more kids this year, which is it's neat to see that the next generation's kind of coming up and getting introduced to geek and nerd culture. There's been some really good guests, some really awesome panels that I've enjoyed, and yeah, no, it's been really fun.
What would you say some of the top 3 panels you've had have been?
I saw the Cracked After Hours, their panel. I'm a big Cracked fan, so I really enjoyed that. The Stan Lee panel. Stan Lee's always amazing. I mean, he's literally Stan the Man Lee. And then I saw one from a doctorate student here at the U of C who was talking about how super strength could be possible, talking about the mechanics of muscles and stuff like that. And it was interesting, and as someone who does a lot of geeky, nerdy, sciencey stuff, it was it was neat to see someone else talking about that same kind of stuff.
That was fantastic. So you're very much interested in education.
Yes, I'm actually finishing up my degree at the U of A, which will be my Bachelor of Education, and I'm going to be a high school English and drama teacher. But I love looking at the things that you can learn from different comic books and nerd stuff, whether it's philosophy or science or math or whatever, just kind of different ways to make something that a lot of people still see as immature, child literature, and taking that and showing that no, there's complex thought in here, there's academic value in these, and it's really neat. I really enjoy it.
That's awesome. Oh, what great finds have you had?
Oh man, this year I've spent a lot of time and more money than I'm proud of trying to finish up my run of Peter Parker Spider-Man. I'm trying to complete the first 2 runs. The first one starting off with the famous Todd McFarlane run on Spider-Man, and then that for 93 issues, and then when Howard Mackey started it up again. And I filled a lot of holes in that one. There was a couple vendors here that had some issues in my run that I've been just dying to find and haven't been able to locate, so that was nice. I got the complete run of Dakin Dark Wolverine, all 23 issues of that, for a really reasonable price. And then a lot of issues of Moon Knight. I love me some Moon Knight, so pretty much whenever I can find anything with him in it, I'm a kind of a sucker for it. So.
Let's talk about Moon Knight. I mean, I'm a DC guy.
Well, nobody's perfect. So. Moon Knight is, the way I usually try and explain it is that he's a more interesting version of Batman. He doesn't have any real superpowers per se. That changes with various writers. Basically, he's a mercenary who died and was brought back to life by the Egyptian god of vengeance, Khonshu, and he runs around fighting crime in much the same vein as what Batman does.
Spawn.
And Spawn. And kind of just runs around and punches people in the face and uses more tools than outward superpowers or anything like that. But he is batshit crazy. He has multiple personalities, schizophrenia. In the newest run that just started here a couple of weeks ago, they're exploring the idea that maybe all of his adventures have been in his head as mental projections, and that he's not actually a superhero. But they're only in the first issue of that, so we're still seeing where that's going. And yeah, I don't know. He's super interesting to me. He's like an anti-hero that has like serious mental issues, and I love him. He's super interesting to me.
Great. That is fantastic and great. Now, you also run a podcast about comics, and it shows that you're passionate about comics. Do you want to talk a bit about that podcast?
Sure. So I run and am one of the founders of the Splash Page podcast, which is the official podcast of our blogging site, which is Omniverse. We operate through ScrewAttack, and we do a bunch of different content that way. And our podcast is kind of our newest branch off of that. We're on our 8th episode. We go every 2 weeks, we release a new episode, and we talk about everything from what we're reading at the moment to upcoming movies to just random stuff. Sometimes our last episode at the time that we're doing this interview, we just kind of sat down and talked about whatever we felt like talking about. So we ended up talking about how we collect comics and what format of comics we like the most and where we store them, and then talking about downloading stuff through questionable means. And it's fun. We kind of just talk about all sorts of things, whether they're comics or movies or games, and it's fun. It's a nice little alternate route to our main Omniverse stuff, which is fun.
Awesome. What got you into doing podcasting? Like,
I've always been a big fan of podcasts. I actually had a former employer when I was at Red Deer College, my first year out of high school, who got me interested into listening to different types of podcasts. Around then, I got into ScrewAttack and started listening to their Side Scrollers podcast. And now I listen to a bunch of other ones, like there's comic book podcasts, Comic Geek Speak, I'm a big fan of, the Nerd Sync podcast, and the Crack podcast, and that kind of stuff. And I was listening to them, and some of I can't remember who it was. I think it was Nerd Sync, Scott Nicewater. Go check out his stuff. But he was talking about kind of how he started getting into podcasting just like in high school, using their basic equipment they had in the computer labs there. And I started thinking, well, I could do that. Why not? Might as well. I already have people that I know I can like talk about this stuff with, because I was already doing Omniverse at the time. And I just kind of went out and got myself a microphone, downloaded Audacity, and went to town. And yeah, it's been fun. I love it, and we're going to keep going for the foreseeable future until the rest of the guys get sick of me.
That is great. I know that my cameraman loves the podcast.
And we love having him because he's one of the only people that actually sends in questions, which is nice, because it's always awkward when we're like, and we'll go to our question segment. We don't have any questions. All right, moving on. And it's always nice having people like John who are always willing to listen and tune in every episode. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. He's pretty fantastic.
And handsome. Very handsome.
However, odd choice of fashion. All right, so you mentioned ScrewAttack quite a few times so far. I'm also a G1, as you know, as my cameraman knows. My cameraman actually got me into it. Yep. How did you find out about it?
Actually, my whole comics history and ScrewAttack have kind of been combined together. When I was first getting into comic books, I actually went on YouTube and just searched up like how to start reading comic books, because I had no idea where to start. I didn't know trades were a thing, and I was just kind of looking for like good places to jump into like different story arcs and stuff like that. And one of the things that popped up was the series called Death Battle, and Superman was fighting Goku, and it was like the newest episode or whatever. And I'm like, I know those people. I'm pretty sure Goku's gonna win, but I'll watch this. So I start watching it, not realizing it was a half-hour-long episode, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh no, Goku's screwed. Oh, but I really like Goku. Oh no, Goku, no. And then after I watched that, I was like, oh my god, there's an entire series of this stuff, and I binge watched every episode of Death Battle in like an afternoon. And then from there, it was like, oh, okay, man, these are all made by the same people. This is crazy. I'm going to go and subscribe. And I've subscribed, and then it starts recommending me, like, their top 10s, and the Armory, and the best and worst of, and side-scrollers. And it was a rabbit hole that there was no way I was coming back out of. And yeah, I was hooked pretty much from, as soon as I saw Superman vs. Goku, I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing on YouTube. And I started watching it, and I was pretty much a G1 from right then. And went and made my account. I was an Advantage member within a week. And and I've met so many awesome people through it, and I love it, and it's fantastic.
You're actually going to be going to SGC.
I am. I'm going to be at SGC. It's going to be awesome. I'm working on I guess you can kind of call it a panel or an event, where I'm going to be fighting John Francis McCullough, because we're both martial arts people, and it started out as a joke, and it kind of grew into something bigger than me, and now I'm pretty sure we just have to throw down and fight in the parking lot.
Morpheus is fighting Neo.
So we're gonna make that happen. I've been in talks with him to get that going on, and I'm just super excited to meet the crew and all the other G1s that come in person and kind of put faces to the usernames, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited.
Can't wait for you to meet G1 Super Luigi 64.
I hear he's a devilishly handsome young man.
I think we're done here.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I don't know. Check out Omniverse. We talked a bit about the podcast, but the blog is still kind of the main piece of content that we're working on. There's all sorts of stuff on there. I kind of handle all of the major editing stuff as well as the Marvel-based content. My other editors and workers, because they joke about me having them like chained to desks and stuff. But Ken from Street Fighter, Renegade for God, and Marco are all incredibly awesome guys, and they put so much work and time into getting all that content out, and it's awesome. We talked about all sorts of stuff from like the new DC TV universe to movie reviews to speculations on other movies to top 10s to various versions of, I guess you can call it like game theory for comics. I did a couple, I don't know, we call them issues, but a couple different posts on like how strong is Spider-Man's web actually, and how fast does Iron Man's armor go, and that kind of stuff. And I just love that stuff. And if you're nerdy and into game theory and comic books, I think our blog is a nice way to kind of mesh those two things together, and it's a lot of fun.
I'm rather excited for my viewers to check it out.
Yeah, me too.
And I would also like to thank you for the shout out on Twitter that you gave me a couple of days ago.
Yeah, no, of course. I love to promote everyone else in the G1 community with all their creative content, whether it's you guys or the Grumpy G1 podcast that Demon and I Like Chicken Dog just started, or G1 Game Days. It's such a close-knit community. I just like to use every opportunity I can to try and help promote other people, because I know a lot of them do the same with us, and we wouldn't be nearly where we are if it wasn't for them. So,
thank you so much. I'm Aaron Tux Shanahan, and this has been Tux Talks. Hello, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share on social media. I'd like to thank Cade for his appearance on this and his patience while this has been going through and getting edited and uploaded. I apologize for the backlog. If you're interested in Omniverse or Splash Page, the links will be in the description below, as well as links to Tux Talks social media pages such as Facebook and Twitter. Thank you again for watching, and see you next Wednesday or Friday. Bye.